Hello everyone and welcome to another magnificent and a very beautiful chess game by Paul Morphy. And in this chess game, Paul Morphy is playing with the black pieces and his opponent is de Riviere, one of the strongest chess masters for his time. He was a high quality chess player, a very strong player, but he has never defeated Paul Morphy in 1858. Although they have played many games in 1859 and 1863. They played many games in 1863, and I'm planning to show those games also in the future, if I would have the chances, of course. So this game was played in Paris in 1858, and de Riviere, who has the white pieces, starts the game with playing e4, e5, knight to f3, knight to c6, bishop to c4 by de Riviere. This is the Italian opening. Bishop to c5 and b4. De Riviere is playing the Italian opening, Evans Gambit, against Paul Morphy. Paul Morphy is the master of the Evans Gambit. So is it going to work on Paul Morphy? So b4, Paul Morphy played bishop takes on b4, accepting the Evans Gambit, but c3, bishop to c5. And after this move, de Riviere castled d6, d4, e takes on d4, c takes on d4, controlling the center, and so far, de Riviere is doing a good job against Paul Morphy. So c takes on d4, bishop to b6, bishop to b2, and threatening to play d5, and then attacking on g7 with the bishop. So we have knight to f6, by Paul Morphy, knight from b to d2, and Paul Morphy castled h3, d5, e takes on d5, knight takes on d5, knight to e4, bishop to f5, saving the knight, knight to g3, attacking the bishop, bishop to g6, knight to e5, and Paul Morphy played knight to f6, knight takes bishop, and of course, the f-pawn is pinned because of the light square bishop, so that's why Paul Morphy captured the knight with the h-pawn, bishop to a3, attacking the rook, rook to e8, queen to b3, and now de Riviere is attacking on f7, so Paul Morphy is simply defending with the queen, queen to d7, rook from a to d1, knight to a5, forking the queen and the bishop. De Riviere played queen to d3, rook from a to d8, bishop to b2, more protection to the pawn. So Paul Morphy was attacking the pawn, intensifying the pressure on d4, but now defending with the bishop. Knight takes on c4, queen takes knight, queen to d5, and Paul Morphy wants to exchange the queen, so de Riviere's pawn on d4 is a very weak pawn. Paul Morphy wants to get rid of the queens in the board and then capture the weak pawn. Maybe that's the plan of Paul Morphy. And after this move, de Riviere is rejecting the offer and he played queen to a4, not exchanging the queens. c6, rook to d3, c5, and the pawn is pinned. So de Riviere played rook from f to d1. That's why he played rook to d3, so that he can double his rooks and protect the pawn on d4. But c4 by Paul Morphy, gaining the space in the board and attacking the rook. That's a very clunky position for de Riviere already, and he is going for the inevitable ending. So c4, rook to e3, bishop to c7 by Paul Morphy. And can you see the threat in this position? Well, de Riviere played a passive move. He played knight to f1. If something like bishop to c3, that would be a very silly move. So rook takes on e3. So white has to capture the rook, and then bishop takes on g3. And black is a piece up, and white needs to resign. So this is why we have knight to f1. And a5 by Paul Morphy. Rook takes on e8, rook takes rook, knight to e3, queen to d6, attacking on h2. Queen takes pawn, and the Riviere is getting back the material. And Paul Morphy played queen to h2, check, king to f1, and knight to e4. Bishop to c1, bishop to f4, queen to c2, bishop takes on e3, bishop takes bishop, and then Paul Morphy played queen to h1, that's check, king to e2, and then queen takes on g2. And again Paul Morphy is a pawn up. And now in this position, maybe Paul Morphy is threatening to play knight takes on f2. So if knight takes on f2, bishop is pinned because of the rook. So the Riviere played king to d3 and queen to f3, still pinning the bishop. Rook to e1, queen to f5, threatening to play some discover attacks to the king. So running away, king to e2, queen to h5, that's check, king to d3, queen to b5 by Paul Morphy, that's check again. But defending with the queen, queen to c4. And in this position, if you look carefully, the world is not over yet for white. And the Riviere is still in the ball game. And he's not losing. This is not losing. But of course, Paul Morphy is much better because of the extra pawn. But always in these kinds of positions, white can manage to draw the game. And even sometimes win the game if black blunders or makes some mistakes. So in this position, how to get the initiative? Paul Morphy played a killer move. And after that move, indeed, the world is over for white. So can you guess the next move of Paul Morphy? How to get the initiative in this position? Paul Morphy played the most accurate move. What would you do if I give you 5 seconds? Can you guess the next combination of Paul Morphy? Can you guess the next 2 moves? So after that move, Paul Morphy is winning 1 more pawn. And the position is completely dead for the Riviere. And if you are ready, I'm going to show you the very beautiful move of Paul Morphy. Actually, that move is not a rocket science, so anyone can guess that move. But Paul Morphy played, indeed, the most accurate move. And he played knight takes on f2, sacrificing the knight. And getting 1 more pawn, but losing the knight, of course, that's temporary. So the Riviere captured the knight with the bishop. What else? And then Paul Morphy played queen to f5. And now you see why Paul Morphy sacrificed the knight. That's check. And the king can't defend the bishop. So black queen is also attacking the bishop. But the e-file is closed. And the Riviere played king to d2, and then Paul Morphy captured the bishop with the queen. That's check. And where is the king going? And before forgetting, if king to c3, then rook to c8, pinning the queen, winning the queen and the game. Paul Morphy is also attacking the rook, so the only logical defense is rook to e2, and then Paul Morphy captured the rook. Rook takes on e2, queen takes rook, and Paul Morphy could capture the queen, but he preferred queen takes on d4. Paul Morphy, the pawn grabber, captures 3 extra pawns, and materially this is completely dead for the Riviere. That's why after this position, the Riviere resigned. And this is the last position of this game. So it's obvious that Paul Morphy is winning materially. But let me show you a few more moves, only for entertainment. And this endgame is completely losing, but let me show you the possible moves as fast as possible. So king to c2, and let's play these moves faster, for not taking your time. So queen takes on a2, king to f1, queen to c4, that's check again, king to g1, and a4. What a torture for white. And the best part in this position for black is that there is no perpetual checks with the queen. And white can only watch these 2 passed pawns marching slowly What a slow death for white. This is just torture. This is simply a torture. What a sadistic position for white. White can slowly watch the two passed pawns marching and can do nothing about it. That's why, for avoiding the torture, the Riviere resigned after queen takes on d4. So I hope you have enjoyed watching this video, and I hope to see you next time. Take care and bye bye for now.